Hey guys, what's up? I finally made it. I was watching Mr. Steve's live. I didn't realize that when I scheduled this for tonight that I figured being the holiday that there wouldn't be a whole lot of us creators on here doing lives, but apparently everybody's doing lives, which is perfectly fine. The more creator lives we have going, the more that they're pushing out all this important information. That is perfectly fine with me. So you guys just choose whoever you want to watch. You can always watch me on replay. But anybody who is here watching the live, I certainly appreciate it. And we'll have to do things old school once again tonight because my cell service once again is crapping out on me. So I couldn't get the second me to come up on my laptop. So I'm going to be controlling everything with my phone. So I'm having to go back and forth. But anyway, welcome everybody. See, I got a couple of comments. Dandy has been here. She's putting up all my links. I very much appreciate that. If you would like to help support the channel and the search for the missing, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee account. I have a PayPal Me account. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Let me make sure I got the right comments up there. Please do subscribe. Hit that bell, like she says, to get notifications for when I go live or upload a video. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I just got out of Mr. Steve's members only chat. So we're just I'm gonna be real quick tonight because, like I said, there's some other creators that I either want to go participate in their chats or watch the replay. Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets is going to be on in about an hour or so. Mr. Steve is going to be on the Drunk Turkey show. Kristen behind the crime door is going to be doing the show. So there's lots of stuff going on tonight. But I just had a little bit of updated information about some of the stories that we talked about in Saturday's live stream, I think it was. Because we did a True Crime After Dark, which is some current true crime in the news, and I found some articles that gave a little bit more information about some of the things that we talked about in on Saturday night. If you're watching replay, welcome. If it's your first time here, welcome. We're glad to have you. I usually share missing persons and cold cases. The ones that don't usually don't get the national attention, and unfortunately some of them don't get local attention that they deserve. So that's what I usually share. Mondays I have my Missing Person Monday video. I have several where I share 5 or 6, usually cold case, missing persons cases. Friday we have our case of the week, and sometimes, like today on Wednesdays, I'll just come on with either a video or a real quick live stream if there's anything happening currently in the news on any of the stories or cases that we're following. So I will get to that. Let me get my slides up and go full screen so I can read what I'm doing. Make sure I'm probably not on the right note. So tonight, at the beginning of all my live streams and or videos that I do, I always feature a missing person. I usually feature a current missing person, but thankfully there are not a whole lot, at least from the sources that I get my missing person information from. Thankfully, there aren't a whole lot of current missing persons that have been listed out there. So I have shared Shannon Collins before. I want to get the camera closer because I'm going to read off my phone here. I have shared Shannon Collins before, probably right after I started my channel. He has been missing since March 12th of 2021, so almost 3 years now. 3 years in March. He was last seen on March 12th. Polk County Sheriff's investigators continue to seek information on his whereabouts. He's 49 years old, and I cannot for the life of me read that small writing. That's why I usually read stuff like this off my computer, but since it's not cooperating with me, hopefully you guys can see it. But he is a military veteran who was reported missing by his brother in late November of 2021. And based on the investigation, it was learned that he was allegedly last seen by his wife on March 12th of 2021. And it was seen walking away from his home in the Pottsville, Arkansas area. Investigators have been unable to confirm any sightings or contact with Shannon after this March 12th date. So if you have any information about Shannon Collins, his disappearance, possible whereabouts, possible sightings, please call the Polk County Sheriff's Office at 479-968-0911. I'll have to go back out and go in because for some reason it's cutting off the plus I have to go in and out to see the comments. Hey, Diaz, good Diaz, excuse me. Good to have you here. I just saw you earlier in Mr. Steve's members only. Dandy's back. Thank you, Dandy, for being here. It's my right-hand woman, as I call her, my right hand. She's taught me so much and helped me so much with this, getting used to doing this live streaming thing. And she does a whole lot of stuff for me, and she is greatly appreciated, as is everybody who tunes into my live streams, watches my videos, subscribes, likes, shares, comments, all those things. Of course, help smaller channels like mine reach more people with all this important information, the most important being the missing persons and the cold cases. So I appreciate everybody that's here, everybody that's going to watch on replay. And all right, let me go back in and see what we got going next. I got a couple of short video clips I'm going to show and some articles I'm going to read. But I'm just so irritated at my cell service right now that I can't control stuff from my laptop because it's so much easier. But anyway, we'll make it. We'll make it through it. Okay, so next, I found this, I think, on the Arkansas Justice Project Facebook page. This is Abraham, and I'll probably butcher this last name, Anzaldua. This is not a missing person. This is a wanted person. There is a bolo out on him. He is wanted for questioning in a homicide. And he is 48 years old. He may be traveling in a 2003 Chevy Silverado truck with possible Texas license plates, JLW 2055. Law enforcement in Corpus Christi, Texas, are investigating a death and house fire that took place just before 3 p.m. Yesterday. I think this is from Monday, February 12th. Police located a deceased individual in the home and believe it to have been a homicide. A neighbor who was parked outside of his home witnessed a man leaving at a high rate of speed in a black truck and then saw the smoke approximately 10 minutes later. The home belonged to Alice and Abraham Anzaldua. Family members have posted on social media that Abraham, in their opinion, allegedly is responsible for taking his mother's life. Now, I don't know if she passed away during the fire or if he harmed her and then set the fire. I'm gonna have to look into this more, but like I said, I just found that this information this morning and just added it in really quickly. Family believes he will flee to the Galveston, Texas area or back to Arkansas, which is where I'm at. There is a bolo for him currently because he is considered a person of interest. If you see him, do not approach him. Call 911. He is considered armed and dangerous. And apparently they've been looking for this guy for a while because at the bottom it says, as you know, we have been posting about Abraham for quite some time due to his connection with the disappearance of Daniel Jaskovich in Garland County, Arkansas. So apparently, yes, this sounds like a very, very dangerous individual. So like it says, if you're in the Arkansas, Texas area, Galveston area, which is down on the coast, call 911. Don't approach him. Very, very dangerous man. All right. So we also have, let me go back out for a minute. I'm sorry, guys. This live is going to be even more of a dumpster fire than it usually is because like I said, I'm going to maybe try again to get StreamYard to come up on my tablet, but it's just not wanting to work for me, or my laptop. It's just not wanting to work for me. But I'll see if it loads. See who's in here. Hey, Junior Johnson. It's always good to see you from Michigan. How's the weather up there? Is it still cold? It's been 70, back up in the 70s here in Arkansas. So Junior's here. Of course, Dandy's here. Di's here. Right, I think I'm caught up on comments. Right, let me go full screen once again. This is a case. This is Brian Kiwi, is his nickname, Brian Keith Freeman. This POS is wanted. This is a 2017 case from Arkansas. He took the life of Lori Hanna in Ward, Arkansas. She was found deceased in her home in Ward, Arkansas, which ironically, when I was doing home health care, I actually had a client that I worked with for about 5 years in Ward. So I'm very familiar with the area. They weren't married. They were both together, a couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call them. He is alleged to have been the one that took Lori's life. And they, on the news last night, this is another one added in really quickly again this morning. Last night on the 10 o'clock, our local 10 o'clock news, they had an unsolved segment that they do. And this was the case that they featured. So it was brought back to my attention again. So I just wanted to put it out there. There is a $10,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of Brian Keith Freeman. He has several tattoos. He has a left forearm says Kiwi, which is his nickname. Left shoulder has a half moon with stars around it with the name Michaela, with a chain under the name. Inside left forearm has praying hands with a date above it. Right forearm says Jackson. Right shoulder says Justin. Both elbows have very big black stars painted on them or tattooed on them. And he has a tattoo on his right calf, and it says he has several more. it says, please pay very close attention to facial features and height. He most likely has changed his appearance. If you have seen him or think you have seen him or have any information about this case or his possible whereabouts, if he is still alive, please contact the U.S. Marshals at 501-324-6256. And I say if he is still alive because there is a debate, or not a debate, but it is possible that, yes, Di says this guy looks very scary. He is very scary, very dangerous. The debate is because they found his truck. He apparently, sometime after, and it was before they found Lori's body, he had called a friend or a brother or somebody and said that he had just done a very bad thing and that he was saying his goodbyes and to pray for him and all this stuff. They later found, of course, and then after that, nobody had heard anything else from him. After that, they went to the house that they shared. They did find Lori's body. It was deemed that she had passed away from a homicide. Of course, Brian Keith Freeman became the top suspect. And then sometime after that, his truck and some of his personal belongings were found in Texas. So, and it was near a wooded area. And I'm going to show the video that will give the whole story, but I'm just giving you the basics. So there's a debate whether because he said he was going to harm himself because of what he did. Because, of course, he has a conscience. Anyway, enough of my sarcasm. But there is debate that whether or not he actually did take his own life or if he just staged it to take his own life and he's been hiding out on the run somewhere. So like I said, I have a video, and yes, Junior says I would not approach him. No. If anybody around the Arkansas area, Texas, Galveston, any of this general vicinity of Texas and Arkansas happens to see if he's around, call 911 immediately. Do not approach him. Yes. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Let me take that down. And it's about let me see if I can do this without. Oh, come on. And I think I'm going to stop my cam and mute my cam while the video is going, because it's a little under 4 minutes, but can explain this whole story much better than I just tried to do. If I can get to it. There it is. There it is. All right. So I'm going to stop my cam. I will be back, hopefully.
It was a budding romance in the small town of Ward.
When they first started dating, he was just really, really nice. She really liked him.
When Lori Hanna and Brian Keith Freeman started seeing each other, her parents say everything pointed to a loving and lasting relationship.
He just really seemed like a really nice guy.
And he always seemed to be okay. Got that wrong, evidently.
Not long after the couple got engaged, Lori's parents started hearing about a different side to Brian that they hadn't seen before.
The controlling and manipulating that he was doing or trying to do, she just said that she just couldn't do that. She said, we're not even married yet. And he's already acting that way.
In the fall of 2016, Lori called off the engagement, but Brian wasn't ready to call it quits.
He told me that she had ended it with him and wanted my advice on how he could get back together with her. And I just told him, I says, give her 2 or 3 months. I said, walk away. I said, give her some time. And I said, circle back. And, if it's going to be, it's going to be. But I said, if not, move on.
We know that Brian had sent text messages to several family members pretty much a confession, saying I've done something horrible.
March 23rd, 2017. Lori was found dead inside her ward home.
The instant that you find out, that's forever burned in your mind.
Lead Detective Jeremy Hammonds says police charged Brian with Lori's murder, but before they could arrest him, he disappeared, making one last phone call.
He called a female acquaintance and said over the phone that he had done this horrible thing, that he had murdered Lori, and that he was going to kill himself there in the woods. And he said, "I love you, will you say a prayer with me?" And then hung up. And that's the last contact we had with him.
Investigators found Brian's truck abandoned in Royce City, Texas, next to a wooded area. Detectives have combed the area multiple times over the years, at one point even getting one of the largest search warrants ever. A multi-agency team and more than 20 cadaver dogs, all looking for any sign of Brian, but coming up empty-handed.
We had a couple of hits from the dogs. They alerted to different areas. We had Texas Rangers there with us. They went out and brought in a forensic team. We had forensic anthropologists there with us. No remains were found.
Leaving a key question unanswered.
Do you guys think he's alive?
No.
I do. I don't think he has the courage to kill himself. He had the courage to kill her, but not himself.
Now, U.S. Marshals are revamping the case, looking through the files once again to see if there's anything they missed.
Says you found a glove. Was it his glove?
We don't know if it was tied to him or not. That we didn't find a mate for it in the truck.
Also bringing in new analysts to profile Brian.
They will look at everything about him, determine, if he is still alive, where would he be? What would he be doing to, survive, to get by this long?
Hammond says he'll never give up. He keeps a reminder in his office of the Marshal's most wanted man, a bottle of bourbon.
I've vowed that I will not open that bottle until he's apprehended. And so, or if it's, if I retire and I haven't found him, I'll pass that bottle to the next guy, and I hope that they can do better than I did.
All right, guys. So that was the basic story of this case. So yeah, very dangerous man. For some reason, everything on my phone is all wonky. Anyway, very dangerous man. Very sad case. I've been following this case since the beginning. And like I said, when they did this unsolved segment on the local news last night, it just brought it back to my attention again. So I just wanted to share this information. And Junior had a good comment. Junior says the reward does not seem very high for homicide, $10,000. That's true. But rewards usually, unless the city or the state or an organization steps in, usually it's just donations from just citizens. But yeah, at any rate, if he is still alive, because you heard what the video said, like I said, the video explained everything much more eloquently than I tried to do a while ago. It's debating whether he's still alive or not, but they said on that video, of course, that they had searched that whole wooded area near where his truck was found numerous times, and with cadaver dogs and forensic people, and have not found anything. Now, we know that there can be numerous searches and you can walk right past human remains and not see them. That could be the case, or it could be that he staged it and he's been on the run and hiding out somewhere, but we just don't know. That's the scary part of it. We don't know. But the scariest part is if he is still alive and still out there, he is very dangerous. And in my opinion, if he was confronted by either a citizen and even law enforcement, in my opinion, just from what I know about him in the case, in my opinion, he wouldn't hesitate to escalate it to the nth degree. So yeah, very dangerous. Hey, Michigan Wifey, good to have you here. It's probably not your tablet when I originally scheduled my live stream to start at 7, and then Mr. Steve, I saw that Mr. Steve was having a members on from True Crime Web. Everybody who hasn't, go check Mr. Steve at True Crime Web out. I saw that he was doing a members only live starting at 6, so I had pushed my start time back to 7:30 so that myself and any other members could go support Mr. Steve in the chat at his live. And then he finished up early, and so I said, well, I'll start, or I've just been changing it. I changed it back to 7 and then to 7:15, and because my thought process was when I scheduled my live stream was it's Valentine's Day. There's not going to be a lot of people because it's a holiday doing live streams. Apparently I was wrong, because like I said, Mr. Steve has his. Mr. Steve is going to be a guest probably already or shortly around 8 Central Time. Going to be a guest on the Drunk Turkey Show. Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets, go check her out too. You can find all these links on the homepage of my channel. Scroll down to the bottom where it says visit our friends. All the links are there. Unearthed Secrets apparently is going to have a live stream starting around 8:15 or so, I think Central Time. Kristen Behind the Crime Door is going to have one talking about Delphi, because yesterday was the anniversary for Delphi. So yeah, apparently everybody had the same idea to do streams tonight. But hey, like I said in the beginning, for anybody that wasn't here, the more that all these creators who are much better than I am at doing this, the more of us that can get on here and get this information out, the better to help with these missing persons and cold cases. All right, like I said, I apologize for my hand going in front of the screen. Let's see if my StreamYard ever came up. Nope. So I want to close it out. So I'm doing it old school, and I'm left-handed, so my hand goes in front of the screen. Let's see. Make sure I say hi to everybody. Dandy Jr., Michigan Wifey. Get that down before I forget. Junior, I'll probably repeat myself. Junior says that his ex got paid when she turned in someone. Yeah. Yeah, there are. And usually they do have stipulations, different stipulations. Some is just for information that leads to, most of the time they say, though, I think it's, if you give information that leads to, sometimes it's just for an arrest, sometimes it's for arrest and conviction. But either way, no. Michigan Wifey says, have y'all talked about the 2 teenage knuckleheads from Wyoming driving to Texas to supposedly pew pew up a preschool? They ran away on the 7th and haven't been seen since. No, I read a little bit about that. Maybe they mentioned it on our local news or something I was watching that might have popped up in my news feed on YouTube or something. I heard about that, but I have not had time to research that. That's horrible. And then, of course, today, unfortunately, there was a shooting, an incident at the Kansas City Chiefs. They were having their Super Bowl parade, celebration parade, and there was an incident there. I think it said it took the light. One person is deceased, and many, many others, including children, were hit. And then there was also a story, I don't know if it was on the local news or the national news. There was 1, 2, or 3 Washington D.C. police officers that got hit. But luckily they said they were okay. They were wearing their vests. So, but yeah, it's just been a crazy couple of days with these incidents. Michigan Wifey said there was an incident, and I say we have to be careful. I'm glad you put incident. I say incident because if I say the S word too much, YouTube, you guys know how YouTube is. They'll flag me and So that's why I refer to it as incidents. I don't know if I heard, maybe I did hear about the one in Georgia. Like I said, in the last couple of days, guys, there's just been so much stuff, craziness going on. It's just, oh, drives me crazy. Dandy says that Dandy says my cousins were at the parade. They left before the commotion. Oh goodness! Thank goodness they left. That's horrible. Thank goodness they weren't hurt. And as always, thoughts, prayers, and good vibes go out to the one person that lost their life and to everybody that was hurt and everybody that was there. Because even if you don't get physically wounded, uh, mentally and emotionally, it's going to leave a scar. Junior says, I wonder if the two knuckleheads have firearms. I think so, or at least they claim they did. Like I said, until was it Michigan Wifey? Now I'm so befuddled here. I'm trying to keep up. Whoever mentioned it, yeah, Michigan Wifey or Dandy. I think it did say they either did have them or they claimed that they had them. Let's see, I'm trying to get caught up on comments and get to these other stories. Oh, you're good. You're good, Michigan Wifey. Don't worry about it. I've accidentally slipped up and said words in the bad YouTube words. It's fine. I'm still on here, so apparently I have none of us have said anything that's got me kicked off. So, and if if something does happen and I get kicked off, I have my second channel, my backup channel that it's not my backup channel, but it's another one I created just for any stuff besides true crime. We can shift over to that channel, but I don't think we got anything to worry about. Yes, exactly. Di says so senseless. Absolutely horrible. And I don't know, I don't want to, because this is not because when it comes to these incidents, sometimes it gets political, and that's fine. Everybody's has a right to their opinion, but this is not a political channel, whatever. It's educational awareness, advocacy. But there's got to be some compromise, in my opinion, about how we handle all these shootings, what needs to be done, and it's just awful. But that's all I'm going to say about it. But there has to be a meet in the middle, because full transparency and disclosure, I have several family members who do carry. They have a CCPs, enhanced CCPs, so they can carry just about anywhere, except for government buildings. And one of my family member always says, the only thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a firearm is a good guy with a firearm, whether it be law enforcement, a properly trained, properly licensed, legal citizen. I'll put it that way. But yeah, it's horrible. There's got to be a compromise in there somewhere. Let's see. I think I've missed somebody. Oh. Hello, Kathy S. Welcome. Kathy S. says, hello, I'm listening in. Thank you for being here. I know I've seen your name somewhere. So remind me maybe where I've seen you. Were you with in True Crime Web, or because I watch True Crime Web, Chris at the Mob Crew. I've started watching the Think Tank, Miss Frankie, Dave. We can't forget our friend Dave. I hadn't seen Dave, but it's early for Dave. He's probably either sleeping or out checking on the owls, or working, or checking on the owls may be his work. I still haven't got that whole story. Okay, yeah, I thought, yeah. Kathy says I was on Dave's and Steve's. Thank you so much for being here, Kathy. It's always good to see people that I see in other chats and channels come to my lives. It's very much appreciated. All the apport. I can't speak. Maybe I should lay off the tea. All the support is appreciated. very much. All right, I think I'm caught up with comments, so we will see. I'll have to go back in, make the screen bigger for a minute so I can see what we're doing next. So tonight I just had a little bit of additional information about, we talked about the Cassidy Ritchie case Saturday night. These two women that were killed in Indiana, about a week or so ago now. Somebody was arrested and charged. I still have my questions, and I did find some additional information on the person that was arrested and charged for the homicides of the two ladies in Indiana. Just really quickly with this whole Kansas City Chiefs fans thing, I found an article that was kind of interesting. And because in the Kansas City case, because in my opinion, it was, and everybody's welcome to their opinion, feel free to give it, just be respectful of everyone involved in the case and be respectful of everybody in chat. Respect everybody's opinions. We can all have adult conversations. But in my opinion, it was a horrible accident, a perfect storm of different things. Now, I could be wrong. I wasn't there. I don't know. None of us were there. But to me, the biggest question I have is whether Jordan Wilson, the homeowner, had anything to do with it or not. What was he doing for those 2 or 3 days that his 3 friends were deceased in his backyard, frozen to death? And it's also been brought up if there could he could possibly be charged with anything. So I just found an article where his lawyer was or a lawyer for one of the families was making that same question is, can he be charged with anything? I found an obituary for Amanda Harms. In that case, I looked for updates because they got a preliminary talks report. She was the one that left her home in the 8 o'clock at night in Oklahoma, ended up 3 miles from her house deceased. Some very strange things going on with that. She supposedly she did get into the car with a stranger. It was seen on surveillance footage, CCTV footage. And this man, I'm assuming it's the man that she got the ride with, who was a stranger, said that she came into his house, but they found some of her clothing, her scarf, her hat, her jacket inside his house. He claimed that she jumped out the window instead of going out the front door to leave. So very, very strange. Red flags everywhere, in my opinion, on that one. But I checked again today. There's been no updates as far as any new information about who this guy was, house that she was in, why she went out the window. But I'm definitely keeping my eye on that. So before I babble on some more. So this is Cassidy Ritchie on the right. On the left is her husband, who has been charged with her homicide. They had only been married, and I didn't realize this until I started reading this article, that they had only been married less than a month. She was found in her or their shared vehicle underneath, covered up with a lot of clothing and stuff. They owned some kind of a SUV. He was arrested. He has been charged. But I just found out and he did have a criminal history, and I found an article that gave his criminal history, which I had not read before. So I just want to share that with you. So this is from the 2 News Oklahoma website, and it says, family angry after missing Tulsa woman's body is found. Tulsa police located the body of Cassidy Ritchie January 28th, 1 week after she disappeared. homicide, sorry, I'm having to kill ads over here. Homicide detectives served a warrant on the vehicle recovered near the I Don't Care Bar and Grill. And yes, that is the actual name of the bar and grill, the I Don't Care Bar and Grill, and discovered her body underneath clothing in the back of the vehicle after impounding it on January 28th. So Cassidy married Chris Moreland, who you see there on the left of the slide, her husband, on January 7th, according to Oklahoma court records. And then he was booked into the Tulsa County Jail on January 25th on a warrant out of Texas, and he was awaiting extradition when he was first questioned about Cassidy's disappearance. Moreland also has an extensive criminal past in multiple states, including charges of DV and larceny. For Joey David, Cassidy's oldest son, and Cheryl Ritchie, who is her mother, sadness is mixed with anger. Both said they were not aware of Moreland's past with DV, and that Cassidy might not have been aware of it either. So with them being only, and I don't know, it did not say how long they knew each other before they got married, but they had been married less than a month. So it is entirely possible that when she married him, when she first met him, she did not know about his DV past. It's just horrible, horrible, sad situation. The mother, or either the mother or the mother of the brother, says that Moreland just said the right things at the wrong time to gain Cassidy's trust. David said, who was her brother, I believe, and he just took advantage of her. It says she saw the good in everybody. She did not deserve this at all. No one does, said Cheryl Ritchie, her mother. Our new family motto is he messed with the wrong family. Absolutely. Because they were married, detectives had to ask Moreland for permission to search the vehicle. Moreland, of course, refused the request. And as of January 29th, he still refused to answer any questions about Cassidy. Because of this, according to Lieutenant Brandon Watkins, police had to get a search warrant before they could search the car, even though they had it in their possession. But they probably would, from what I understand, they probably would have got a search warrant anyway, just to cross the T's, dot the I's, in case anything, I'm assuming they didn't know they were going to find her body in there when they searched the vehicle, but in case they had found any evidence in there, that way, hopefully, when and if he's the offender, alleged offender, if it goes to trial, the defense can't say, hey, you didn't have a search warrant when you searched his vehicles, and so they wouldn't be able to use the evidence. But anyway, that is my limited knowledge of how search warrants and searches work. Okay, so Lieutenant Watkins goes on to say it is a much more intrusive search. We were looking for trace evidence, blood evidence, and what you don't want to do is to contaminate the crime scene. Lieutenant Watkins told 2 News. He added, investigators found Cassidy's body hidden under blankets and clothes in the back of the SUV in a way that could not be seen from the outside. Because they found the vehicle had crashed or ran into a ditch, and a good Samaritan had apparently come along and pulled it out of the ditch and put it back on the side of the road. And there's conflict. This husband here gave conflicting stories about whether he was with the vehicle the whole time or whether he wasn't. In other words, in my opinion, he's not being truthful. So detectives are working with the DA's office to determine jurisdiction between Tulsa County and Rogers County because of the location where the car was initially found. But Tulsa police said they expected a first-degree homicide charge for Moreland. Lieutenant Watkins told 2 News on January 29th that he believes preliminary results from the medical examiner to state the cause of death within the next couple of days. The Tulsa Police Department arrested Moreland on January 29th on complaints of first-degree homicide. However, charges are still pending. And her family last saw Cassidy, who was 39, on January 20th. At the time, police believe that Cassidy might have already been deceased. Her brother says she was so happy on her wedding day, and this was according to her brother, Kyle Ritchie. He says, I don't know if she was just too scared to say anything. Moreland was just a whole different person after the marriage. That's unfortunately the way it happens with these DV offenders. TPD said Ritchie left somewhere off Highway 412 between Tulsa and Enola. Someone found Ritchie's car, Cassidy's car, which was a light blue 2006 Chrysler Pacifica, on the side of the road with a large amount of mud on it. There was quite a bit of grass and other damage, dirt that was caked up. They're talking about around the front, the undercarriage, and around the front of the car or the SUV. Again, that was another thing that we found to be very concerning, Watkins added. Everybody really loved her. That's why everybody's trying so hard to find her. And the Ritchies, the family, are now raising money for funeral expenses through a GoFundMe. And a separate GoFundMe has been set up for her surviving children. So that is the latest on Cassidy Ritchie. We knew most of it, except for, at least I hadn't read about his prior convictions and charges and alleged DV incidents. So let me go back out for a minute, see what we got going on in chat. Bear with me, guys. Now I sound like bear with me. Get caught up in chat. That's where I was. Okay. Yeah, so. Hello, Nanar. Glad to have you here. Always glad to have you here. I'm glad to have anybody and everybody here. Welcome. Junior says, I don't think he did anything on purpose. Are you talking about the Cassidy Ritchie case? And that could be it. It could be they got into an argument and it got out of hand and she ended up deceased. But even if he didn't mean to do it on purpose, I mean, he still allegedly is the one that took her life. Now, if they find out that it was not premeditated or first degree, second degree, it could be some kind of man one, man two, whatever the different mans are. And I don't know if I can say the whole word on that one either. So, or if you're talking about the, you may be talking about the KC Chiefs ones. Yeah, if you're talking about the KC Chiefs fans, that's my thinking too. In my opinion, that Jordan Willis, because apparently he had an addiction problem too, because he checked himself into rehab. What, 2 or 3 days after his friends passed away. It may be whatever he got from wherever he got his supply from, he might not have known what was in it. And he could have been passed out, depending on what was in whatever they were partaking in. He could have been passed out for those 2 days, but who knows? That's very, very lots of things to unpack and sort out in that case. And Michigan Wifey says there's no way he was sleeping those days. There's no way he's something. Yeah, like I said, that is my biggest question is, was he passed out or whatever for those 2 days? If he wasn't passed out for those 2 days, what was he doing for those 2 days? You can't, if he was not passed out or incapacitated in some way, in my opinion, there's no way you can tell me that he did not know that his friends, 3 people, were in his backyard deceased. You cannot tell me that he did not know that. But like I said, this is a case that is driving me crazy, as I think it is a lot of us. Right, trying to get caught up. Dandy says he looks like he's old enough to be her father. You talking about Cassidy Ritchie's husband? Yeah, he does. He looks a little rough. Looks a little rough. And I'm trying to think. So she was. Let me go back and find ages. I think Cassidy was 39. I think it said in this article. Just bear with me for a minute. Come on. Yeah, Cassidy was 39. I'm trying to see if it told how old he was. And if anybody remembers from me reading the article, or somebody might have already answered and I just haven't found the comment yet. Surely it tells how old he was. But yeah, he does look a little bit older. Either he's a little bit older or he's had a rough life, but you can see there he's got a lot of neck tattoos. Now that doesn't, just because you have tattoos doesn't, because I have tattoos, doesn't mean you're gonna, go out and take somebody's life. But yeah, he does look somewhat older than her. I can't believe it doesn't tell in here, or at least that I can see how old he was. Anyway, I might be just I'm just scanning. I might have scanned over it and didn't see how old he was. I thought it told how old he was when they were talking about his criminal history. But at any rate, yeah, sad case, as they all are. Right. Let's see if I can get caught up in comments. Yes, Nanar says he does look old and he looks really mean. Yeah, I wouldn't want to, and I try not to judge books by their cover just by looking at somebody, but I definitely would not want to meet him in a dark alley anywhere. That's just me. But I'm always very, because for one, I was taught to be growing up, and then when I got into all the true crime stuff, I'm always very, very aware of my surroundings and looking at people to see if they look suspicious, whatever suspicious looks like. But usually you can tell, I found, and this is my opinion once again, by people's body language and just the way they're acting, if they might be somebody you might need to keep your eye on. But then again, you have people that have mental conditions that they're not dangerous, but just if you didn't know them and just happened upon them, the way that they were acting just because of their may have diminished mental capacity, it may make you think that there's something wrong with them, and they could be perfectly harmless. But you still have to, regardless, you still have to be aware. Yeah, Dandy says, wonder what his loveliest qualities are. Yeah. in my opinion, I mean, I don't know, just from the limited information we have about him now, I don't think he has very many good qualities. I'm sorry if I'm missing any comments or anything. I'm trying to scan here. All right. Nan says, I hate to admit it, but I could have people in my backyard and I wouldn't know it. But if I had friends over at some point, I think I'd remember. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Even if I can understand maybe for a day or so. I said if he had imbibed or partook of whatever they were taking. I mean, because if you drink enough alcohol, I mean, I couldn't do it anymore. Back in my younger days, I mean, in my drinking days, if I drank enough alcohol, I would sleep the whole next day and the world could fall apart around me and I wouldn't know. But you would think after 2 or 3 days that you would, if he was out of it, you would come around and at least have some awareness and you would at least, because their vehicles, or at least two of the friends' vehicles, I think were still in his driveway, and I would look out there and say, hey, if it was me, I would say, why are their vehicles still there? And I may take a look around the house and outside the house to see, and then supposedly, or there were people calling, friends and family calling, banging on the door. The fiance of one broke in. So who knows? It's just one of those cases. Ah, thank you, Dandy. Should know. Dandy said he is 49, so he's 10 years older than her. Because Cassidy was 39. Which 10 years, to me, because I've always liked older guys, but 10 years is not that big of a difference. But yeah, and just like I said, yeah, Dandy says everybody looks suspicious. See, that's the way I'm getting. Maybe that I don't think everybody looks suspicious, but I keep if I'm out in public anywhere, doesn't matter what we're doing, whether or not we're in Wally World, grocery shopping, or wherever, I'm scanning, looking at people, But unfortunately, that's just the world we live in now. Oh, and don't let me forget, I do have another short video about a memorial that they put up for Cassidy, where the vehicle was found. So as soon as I get caught up in comments, I will play that. It's only about a minute and a half long. Junior says that he's pretty good at being able to tell if someone isn't quite right. Yeah. It's just, you just go, like they say, use your gut instinct. Go with your gut. Yeah, Dandy says 10 years isn't bad. Yeah. 10 years is not bad. Okay, so I think I'm caught up in comments, so I will take this down for a minute, and I will play this I think it's only maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes long.
It took some work. But Friday afternoon, Cassidy Ritchie's loved ones accomplished their goal. This handmade cross faces Highway 412 east of Catoosa, memorializing the woman they loved.
That's where she was last, and we just want to be where she was and want her to know that all the family were there. We all cared for her still. And
Chris Moreland and Cassidy Ritchie were married January 7th. Just about 10 days later, things went quiet. Last Sunday, investigators found her dead inside a car left in rural Catoosa. Moreland was arrested on a complaint of murdering Ritchie. His bond is set at $5 million. The use of the color purple at today's ceremony was twofold. It was one of Cassie's favorite colors, and it represents domestic violence awareness. Ritchie's son, Joey David, offered some advice for victims.
I tell them you might think you're trapped or you can't escape or anyway, but there are people out there, there are resources, and even if it's just your friend or family, even like somebody stranger, someone out there will listen to you and kind of hear what you have to say, and they'll be willing to help you.
The ceremony was simple but heartfelt, ending in this moment of prayer from Ritchie's daughter.
God, just thank you so much for letting her live a wonderful life.
In Catoosa, I'm Brody Myers, 2 News, Oklahoma.
All right, I just wanted to show you that. I thought that was Get back to my comp. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. May turn into a dumpster fire. There we go. I think we're back. Move that. Put that back up there. Okay. P9 New York is in the house. Welcome, P9. Glad to have you here. P9 is one of our new friends from Miss Frankie Rose, the think tank. If any of you guys are here that have not checked out the think tank, it is also in my friends list links. So go check everybody that's in my links. Please go check them out. Oh, everything's jumping. Okay, this is what I was trying to get to. So Nan says, I was listening to STS Nation, and Leo was saying that when people would take angel dust, maybe they won't fight me for that, and I think ecstasy, that their bodies would heat up, they strip down and lay on the pavement trying to cool down. Yes. I've heard that. Yeah, I think also with the substances you mentioned, but I think also I have heard that when you go into hypothermia, your body has to do with your body sending all the blood to your core to warm you up, the vital organs, that it makes you feel hot, and people that have hypothermia end up stripping, because they find a lot of people that pass away from hypothermia have taken off their clothes. Yeah, I think I have read, Nan, what you were saying about the substances. So you make an excellent point. Nan says that somebody's doing a great job. If you're talking about me, I don't know how great I'm doing tonight. Of course, anybody who watches me on a regular basis knows that at any point, this could turn into a dumpster fire, or I could go into the Upside Down or the Matrix or wherever I go to. But this was kind of a rush thing tonight, because I was not expecting all these other creators to be going live, and I want to hurry up and get this done so we can all go either join other creators' chats or watching their replays. But I appreciate everybody who's chosen to come to my live. It's very much appreciated. For a small channel like mine, you guys make me happy. Make me very happy. Very proud. Yep. Junior says, I've got 4 daughters. I could tell the minute I saw some of these boneheads they brought home. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. I don't have kids of my own, but I've helped raise numerous nieces, nephews, friends' children, friends' kids. And yeah. So you got mama bears and you got daddy bears, as I call them. And there is a country song, and I can't remember who sings it right now. Something to the effect, at the end of the song, it says, the boy came to pick up the daughter, and something to the effect at the end of the song that he'd be sitting out on the porch with his pew pew, as they say, waiting for him. So if anybody knows if it listens to country, I listen to all kinds of music, but anybody knows what song I'm talking about, I'm wanting to say maybe Trace Atkins or somebody sang it, but I could be totally off base. About the only time I listen to a lot of country music is when I'm with my mom, because she listens to country. But then again, she also listens to my 80s music, because between me and my younger brother, or the middle brother, and the younger brother too, youngest brother, we back in the 80s and early 90s, she whenever we were in the car, she had to listen to all the 80s hair bands, and then the grunge and Pearl Jam and all that in the 90s. So we share, and then we got our love for classic rock, CCR, Three Dog Night, all those good 60s and 70s bands. We got that love and appreciation of that music from our parents, so it's mutual. All right. See if I'm getting caught up. Of course. P9 says, appreciate the warm welcome, everyone. Of course. We have a wonderful, just like Miss Frankie's community. And I think a lot of us creators, and just, I say us creators, but we're all in it. Creators, people who watch us, because I still can't think of myself as a creator. I'm just somebody who gets on here who's passionate about finding the missing and bringing the missing awareness to the missing in cold cases. But it takes all of us working together, creators, communities, all the communities working together to bring awareness to all these cases. So it takes everybody. So of course, everybody is welcome here. Yep, exactly. P9 says you just never know. People are cray cray. Yes, they are. No, Junior, Three Dog Night is a group. No. Well, I always wondered what Three Dog Night meant. Of course, like I said, I mentioned the group, music group Three Dog Night, which I was raised on Three Dog Night, CCR, things like that, was always playing in my house, for, in the womb. I think I was listening to it in the womb. But I never knew. So Junior said a Three Dog Night means it's really cold. All right. That is good information to have. So even here in Arkansas, week and a half ago, we had a lot of Three Dog Nights, because for us, it was really cold for us down here in the South. But we're wimps down here in the South when it comes to cold weather. For me, if it gets below like 65, I'm freezing to death. All right. Okay, I think I've got caught up in comments, so let me go back into my full screen mode and see what we're doing next. Okay, so next, sorry, trying to get situated here. We are going to talk, I found some more information, and I have some opinions, and I would love to hear your guys' opinions who are here and chat with me and who watch replay. These two ladies who you see at the bottom, on the bottom right hand of the slide. While I'm waiting, babbling while I'm waiting, hopefully my story will come up on my computer. They were found deceased within 3 to 5 days of each other, and only around 150 yards apart, which is basically a football field and a half. Which is, considering, it may seem like a long way, but considering finding two people deceased, two women deceased, killed in the same, I said the K word. I'm not supposed to say that word either, but anyway, found deceased in the same manner within 150 feet of each other, within a matter of days of each other. Of course, it set off panic alarms. A gentleman, not a gentleman, a person, a monster, in my opinion, was arrested and has been charged. And some very interesting information in this article, because it was speculated, and I had the same thought when I first read the first article about when this happened, is, do we have a serial offender? Because highly, in my opinion, in anybody here, I'm assuming, I don't want to speak for everybody, that if you have, like I said, two ladies or two people, and you can tell, you can look at their pictures there, they do look similar, have a little, look alike, same age, their lives were taken in the same manner within days of each other, less than a week, found 150 yards apart. It makes you think, do we have a serial offender? And that was my first thought, was, do we have a serial offender? And I don't know. Part of me saying that this man that's been arrested could possibly have, and the article I'll read to you, I'll just read it instead of babbling, because it can explain it so much better than me. So this is from ABC News website, and it is from February 9th, and it says suspect charged in brutal homicides of 2 Indianapolis women who were found deceased days apart and near each other. And on the top there of the slide is the person who has been arrested and charged. His name is David Heiner, I believe. So a suspect has been arrested in the, quote, brutal and evil homicides of 2 Indiana women who were both stabbed days apart and found near each other, police announced on Friday. Sorry, I'm swatting ads again. The victims were found deceased on Indianapolis's east side, police said. The body of the first victim, Shannon Lasser, or Lasser, is Lassere. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. 58, was found in a parking lot on January 27th, while the second victim, Marianne Weiss, who was 52, was found behind a building about 150 yards away on February 1st. Both had been, their lives had been taken by what they say, quote, multiple sharp force injuries. And this is according to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, who I will be referring to as IMPD because that's a lot easier to say. Indianapolis Interim Police Chief Christopher Bailey said at a press conference, this was brutal and evil what happened to them. Absolutely. He added, an arrest in this case will not bring these 2 women back, but I pray this step brings the family and the loved ones the comfort they need as they continue to grieve. I also pray that this arrest brings our neighbors on the east side a sense of peace and safety. So David Heiner, 30, was charged on Friday with 2 counts of homicide in their taking of their lives, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office said. He is in custody and is likely to make his first court appearance next week. It is unclear if he has an attorney. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears thanked the community for their help on what he called the, quote, unnecessary and thoughtless taking of life of 2 vulnerable members of the community. Where you have 2 separate incidents involving 2 different people over the course of a couple of days, it is paramount that we are in a position to hammer down a timeline, which they were able to do because of the community's involvement and participation. Mears said during a press briefing on Friday, we would not be here without those individuals coming forward with that information. So we've already went over, they saw him on video surveillance. They went to his house, found a pair of his shoes that had blood on them, a pair of blue jeans that had blood caked on them, another pair of blue jeans that he had soaking in bleach. So we went over all that Saturday. But for anybody who wasn't here Saturday, that's how they came to this fella here. But new information, or at least for me, from this article, says that Heiner knew the second victim, Weiss, according to Indianapolis Deputy Chief Kendall Adams. Police do not have any information that the suspect knew Lasser, but he did know Weiss. And Marianne Weiss is the one on the left, and Shannon Lasser or Lasser is the one on the right. You might can see that. I don't know if it's on the slide, but anyway, just so we can keep them, know which one is which. So surveillance and forensic evidence helped lead detectives to arrest this suspect. Surveillance footage showed Weiss walking with a man after leaving a bar the night that her life was taken. according to the probable cause affidavit. Several people at the bar also told people they saw Weiss leave with a man, assumably this man, David Heiner, according to the affidavit. Detectives began looking for a person who fit the description of the man captured on the surveillance footage, Adams said. While patrolling the area near where the women were found on Tuesday, detectives saw Heiner leave his apartment building wearing a black coat similar to the one seen in the video, according also to the affidavit. He also had the same style of hair, build, and complexion as the man seen in the footage. Heiner was taken into custody on Tuesday, and detectives obtained a search warrant for his apartment. During the search on Wednesday, we went over, they found a pair of Nike Air Max shoes that appeared to have dry blood on them. Jeans that appeared to match those seen in the surveillance video were also found soaking in bleach in a bucket in the bathtub. And another pair of jeans found in a hamper also appeared to have specks of possible blood on them, according to the affidavit. Trying to get down to the information about him. So everything was sent to the lab. They did find the blood was matched to the victims. This was confirmed from lab results. It says this confirmation from the lab was key to positively connecting this suspect to the victims. No weapon has been recovered. While being interviewed by police, Heiner allegedly said that he was aware that two women's lives had been taken recently near his home, but quote had nothing to do with it and only saw what was on the news. The affidavit stated he also denied being at the bar where Weiss was prior to her homicide. After being shown photos from the video surveillance cameras, he, quote, admitted that it was him in the photos, though he denied that Weiss was with him despite witness accounts. He also allegedly claimed the shoes belonged to his mother's boyfriend, though she told police that she had recently given them to her son, according to the affidavit. A motive remains unknown. So here's the information that at least I hadn't read until this article. Heiner had been released from prison in September of 2023. Online court records show that he was convicted of felony aggravated battery in 2012 in LaPorte County after pleading guilty to shooting a pizza delivery driver 2 years earlier. And there's, don't tell me, where is it at? Don't tell me. Wait a minute, hopefully, oh, did I not bookmark? So this was, I know there's more of this article. Anyway, it said that he supposedly, while his mother was pregnant with him, that she was on several different substances. I think it said H and maybe Coke, and that might that had something to do with he had behavioral problems, mental issues. And it also said that he had what they called, I'm trying to remember from memory because apparently it's not giving me the rest of the article, or I have the wrong one. He had what they called impulse control disorder. I think I've heard of impulse control disorder before, but apparently it's where exactly what it says, you can't control your impulses, and that they were going to go back and look at other unsolved cases in that area to see if he possibly could have had anything to do with some of these unsolved homicides in this area. that was the information I wanted to get out, that apparently either my computer didn't bring the whole story up, or so. What do you guys think? Do you think he could possibly have other victims, or possibly be a serial offender? Or was it this personality disorder he had from his mother using substances while she was pregnant with him, and then the impulse control disorder? Let me go back out and see what you guys have to say or have said. All right. Bear with me. Going back down to the comments. Trying to find out find where I left off. Okay. Oh, Junior says, going back to the 3-dog night, it says it's an old saying. It's so cold outside. Do you need to sleep with 3 dogs to keep warm? That's how they got their name. Awesome. Yes, P9, New York. That is the question. Is he a serial offender? And I suppose that he could be a serial offender even with this impulse control disorder and these mental issues he had because his mother did substances while she was pregnant with him. In my opinion, being that they were these two particular homicides were so close together, literally close together. They were found 150 yards apart, and there was only like 5 days between them. Because I was going to say it could have been a spree incident, but usually a spree incident is like 1 day, maybe 2 days, and you usually have a lot more victims. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards possible serial offender, and especially after they said that they were going to go back and look at some of the unsolved homicides they have in that area to see if they have any DNA or anything that could connect him to any of these other cases. So definitely going to keep our eyes on this one. Thanks, Dee. She's probably already gone. I think she's probably gone to Carolyn's and our secrets live stream. I'm going to go over there shortly when we get done here, or watch the replay if I don't make it in time. Thank you, Di, for being here. Yes, P9 says it sounds like they found his dumping ground. That's what I was thinking too, because 150 yards apart, and I'm wondering, which the autopsy could tell the time of death, but I'm wondering, and it said that their lives were taken on different days. But I wonder if when they found the first victim, I can't remember which one they found first right now. Once again, let me go back to my. So Shannon Lassier was found first, and then Marianne Weiss was found 5 days later. I wonder if Marianne was out there and they just already deceased when they found Shannon, the first one, and they just didn't see Marianne. But like I said, the autopsy would tell, or they could probably tell, or I'm not a forensic expert. As I like to say, Mr. Steve is our resident forensic expert. CSI guy, as I call him, among other things. But if she was out there and they just didn't find her until later. Sorry, I can't get nothing's wanting to work. Everything's froze up. It may stay up there forever. Nope, there it goes. Okay. Yep. He was on probation. Yep. See, you're way ahead of me. Yep, P9 says he was on probation okay, I was wondering where LaPorte was. So LaPorte County, Indiana. He served 10 years for battery. Yep. That was the rest of either the rest of this article that didn't come up, or I bookmarked the wrong article. Thank you. P9 says I put it on your Discord about his prior record. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, my friend. All right. And P9 says yes, in his opinion, their opinion, he is a serial. Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. Yeah, P9 says his record seems to speak for itself, the leveling up of his crimes and violence. Exactly. Exactly. We're on the same page. Not making light of anything, but Nan says, I have impulse control disorder when it comes to cookies, and I've gotten rid of lots of cookies. Same here, sister. Same here. Oh, Dandy's still here. How do you know Dandy? Hey, Dandy. I wonder if you're still here. Junior's still here. Junior says, I have the same problem when it comes to ice cream. Oh, God, I love ice cream, but apparently the older I've gotten in my old age, I have developed, what is it called? I've become lactose intolerant. If I try to have a shake or some ice cream, I pay for it. I still have a little bit of a shake or ice cream every once in a while, but I've learned that I can't overdo it anymore. Nan says, this is what we talk about while listening about unalivings. Yeah. And like I said, we none of us by any means are making light of any of these situations that we're talking about. But as I always say, sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying when you hear about some of these stories. And as Mr. Steve from True Crime Web, who's former law enforcement, he's done everything you can do in law enforcement and CSI forensics. Sometimes you got to have that dark humor. That's what gets you through. So Junior says it calms his nerves. Yep, exactly. Dandy says there's dairy alternatives. Yeah, I've tried some of those alternatives and they're not that good. Maybe I just haven't tried the right ones, but yeah. Okay, I think I'm caught up in comments once again, so we'll see what else we got going on. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it, because I made slides. Duh. I told y'all guys I was even more goofier than usual. So this is what I was going to read. I forgot I made slides of it because I couldn't get when I was going to bookmark this wishtv.com website, I couldn't get it to come up. But yeah, so this Heiner was released in September after serving a decade in prison. He served 12 years of an 18-year sentence, according to court records. He pleaded guilty to aggravated battery in 2012 for the pizza delivery, pew-pewing. During a robbery. In the plea agreement, his attorneys said that Heiner's mom was an H addict when he was born. He has suffered from mental health issues since childhood. He had been diagnosed with impulse control disorder, and investigators want to know if he might be connected to any other unsolved homicides in the area. And anyone with information who's in this area, or please share it anywhere and everywhere. Anyone with information can contact Detective Ryan Clark at 317-327-3475 or ryan.clark@nd.gov. Okay, so there's the missing information that was going to be right in front of me the whole time. So that is, but yeah, in my opinion, impulse control disorder or not, mental problems or not, in my opinion, I think there's a big possibility that he could have other victims. And I think from you guys' comments here in chat, and please, if you're watching on replay, please leave your comments below about what you think about any of these cases and topics that we are discussing during the live. Please leave your comments, your opinions. All right, so we're finished with Mr. Heiner. Okay, so now we're going to go back to, or go to, Kansas City Chiefs fans. And I do have the article for this if it will come up on my computer. It's taking its time. So we're going to be talking about an attorney who is representing the family of Clayton McGeeney, who, of course, is, we all know, or most of us who's been following this case know, is one of the 3 Kansas City Chief men found deceased in freezing conditions after an NFL watch party. Okay, so it has come up, and this is from Fox News website, and it says Kansas City Chiefs fans hard to see scenario where something unusual didn't happen, lawyer says. Excuse me. And this is the one of the lawyers, attorneys representing Clayton McGeeney. Well, yes, something unusual did happen, obviously, but what exactly unusual happened? That is the big question. So an attorney representing the family of Clayton McGeeney, one of 3 Kansas City men found deceased in freezing conditions after an NFL watch party, said his clients need to know whether there was any, quote, intention or malice, end quote, in party host Jordan Willis's behavior in the 2 days that he did not report the bodies in his yard. That's always been my biggest question. What was he doing for those 2 days? Tony Kagey, or Kagay, however you pronounce that, told Fox News Digital he would, quote, feel nothing but sympathy, end quote, if Willis was, quote, blameless in the deaths of McGeeney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington. But Kagey said it would be very hard to explain how he could not realize what happened to his friends when they were frozen in his backyard for 2 days. Exactly. The friends were last seen alive inside Willis's home after the Kansas City Chiefs win against the Los Angeles Chargers on January 7th. Although Kagey confirmed that substances were detected in the men's systems, according to preliminary tox results shared with their loved ones by police, he could not confirm which were found. And I think it's been rumored or leaked out somewhere that Coke and the F, whatever they're calling it, Finney, so we don't get in trouble for saying the other F word, is been rumored or whatever, is what they found in the preliminary tox results. But as far as I know now, as of now, nothing has been absolutely confirmed. So he goes on to say, I think that if Monday morning Willis had realized that his friends had expired overnight and he called 911, I don't know that this would be a story. Probably not, or it wouldn't be as big of a story as it has turned into, in my opinion. Mr. Kagey, the lawyer, goes on to say, I don't know if we'd be talking about it today. It would get a few days in the Kansas City market and then it would fade away. Kagey said McGeeney's mother, Nancy Bossert, and his fiancee, April Mahoney, attempted to reach McGeeney and then Willis over the 2-day period when the men were missing. Multiple people in their close-knit group of friends that lived within a mile radius made calls and house calls in attempts to find them. We all know that. But their deaths were not reported until the evening of January 9th, when Kagey said Mahoney, who was the girlfriend, fiance of one of them, broke into Willis's property out of desperation and discovered one of the bodies. The Kansas City Police Department would find 2 more bodies behind the home. Video recorded by a neighbor shows Willis handcuffed in boxer shorts as police conducted their search. It is unclear exactly when or how they passed. Kagi said multiple personal items belonging to the men that remained in Willis's home after they were deceased raised further questions. He says, how does Willis not realize what has happened to his friends? That's a big part of what the family wants to know. We may never have an answer to that. It's very hard to see a scenario where something unusual didn't happen, he continued. Kagi said there had been disappointment over the way the KCPD communicated with the press about the men's deaths. The agency previously told Fox News Digital that they were 100% not being investigated as homicides. The lawyer says, I don't think they were in a position to say that. Clearly, there is an ongoing investigation. I just don't know how they made that determination, and I don't know that was helpful to say. When you say there was no sign of foul play, there was no GSW, no stab wounds, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't something that occurred that was illegal. I don't know that was handled in the ideal manner. The lawyer goes on to say, I'm not saying that anybody did anything intentional, but I don't think that it would be required for there to be criminal liability. See, and that's going to be, and is the big question, is if Jordan Willis can be charged with anything. So the lawyer goes on to say, regardless of who was responsible, the fact is that 3 young men who were in good health were celebrating with each other. They ended up deceased. One of Nancy's main concerns is that this not happen to anyone else in the future. The media attention that this case has received, Kagi said, has been a double-edged sword for his clients. On one hand, they want to grieve in peace. On the other hand, Kagi believes the attention can be used to quote, apply some gentle but effective pressure on the KCPD and compel a more thorough investigation. When full autopsy and toxicology reports are available and police complete their forensic investigation of electronic devices, at least 2 of the men's families have been asked for their son's phone's passwords. So evidently the law enforcement wants to look into the phones, which I don't think would be unusual. The Platte County Prosecutor's Office will decide whether criminal charges should be pressed against Willis or Alex Weimer Lee, who was the 5th party guest who came forward a few days later, who left the house alive on January 7th. Last week, representatives from the families of Harrington, Johnson, and McGinney met with the prosecutor's office. Kagi said prosecutors wanted the family to know this situation was being investigated thoroughly and that they would cooperate with the families in the future. There still are a lot of unanswered questions and understandable skepticism as far as an explanation for how it happened. There are attempts being made to resolve those questions. Well, I hope so. Kagi also said, quote, some of the family have publicly expressed skepticism about Willis's announcement that he checked himself into an inpatient rehab facility after the incident. The timing could appear to a cynical person to be a bit suspect, Kagi said. On the other hand, he may have a substance abuse problem and needed to check into rehab. But although he said that only the results of the investigation can prove any culpability or lack thereof, Kagi's criminal defense background compels him to wonder about the case in the interim. He says, I really want to know where exactly their bodies were discovered, what were they wearing, what was in the house, if there was substance use. Was there a cleanup that occurred in those 2 days before they were discovered? That's been brought up too. Is in these 2 days before they were discovered, could Jordan Willis have been cleaning up? I'm not saying he was. That's just been the rumor or speculation. Was there paraphernalia in plain view when law enforcement arrived? Kagi says a lot of these questions may never be answered in a way that makes people satisfied. But McGinney's family is patiently awaiting police findings until more information is released, and their position is that we don't know if an investigation was done appropriately or inappropriately because we don't know how it was done. So that is what the attorney for at least one of the families had to say about the investigation thus far. Still on. Bear with me, trying to scroll back down to where I was left off at in comments. Okay. Oh, I didn't know this. P9. So I'm just getting to know P9. Says, I'm a retired corrections officer, so I love that these channels exist to help capture these people. Thanks for running this channel. Public awareness is important. Thank you so much. That's the whole reason I do this, is to bring awareness to the missing, the cold cases, like I did at the beginning. Anybody who may have missed, I featured 2 people that were wanted for homicide. So I'm gonna start doing more of that because on the Arkansas Justice Project Facebook page, and then there's other states around the Southeast Facebook pages that I find I've been coming across more and more of these bulletins put out for people that are wanted for different crimes. So I'm gonna start featuring more along with the missing, featuring more of these dangerous criminals that are wanted to help bring awareness to that. So thank you, P9. I appreciate that. And P9 says, so they gave a deal to him to lower the charges. He is dangerous. Then mom is trying to cover for him. Typical to play it down. Are you talking about the KC or one of the other cases? I'm so behind in comments. I'm sorry. I don't know which case you're referring to. But you can just pop another comment down, and when I get to the bottom, you can clarify it for me. And Dandy, once again, I don't know what case you're talking about, but Dandy says, sounds kind of like the sister of the dude in Vegas that jumped the bench and the judge, full of excuses. Oh God, I saw that video. Yeah, the guy that jumped over that attacked the judge, that was just crazy. But I got to read up on that because I don't know. All I've seen is just the video of when that happened. That was some crazy stuff. And I watch a show. It's on either ID or Reels. I think it's on Reels, called Court Cam. You guys ever watch that? You see some crazy stuff on that show too. Yes, P9 says, didn't it come out that they all had coke in their system? Yeah, that has been I don't know if it's been officially confirmed, but there has been talk, or maybe it was leaked out from the preliminary talk screens that has been said that there was coke and Finney, because apparently you can't say the whole word Finney, Fetty, whatever they call it, but I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. The horrible drug that is mixed in with other drugs. But yes, that has been the rumor that Junior says, once again, I'm lost, but Says you would think at pre-sentencing investigation they would realize people like him are dangerous. P9 says so true, but sometimes evidence gets quashed and they can't submit it. That's a good point, Dandy. Dandy says, I'm assuming you're talking about the KC Chiefs case. Dandy says there's no way he slept that long after drinking. Did he wet the bed? I hadn't thought about that, but yes, that's true. Very true. Like I said, that is my biggest question in this whole thing. What was he doing for those? What was Jordan Willis doing for those 2 days? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, P9 says that is so strange. Deceased people all around your yard and it's not investigated as questionable. Exactly. At the very least, it's not investigated as questionable. Makes me things that make you go, huh? As that old song says, or whatever, that 90s song. Things that make you go, huh? Or as I like to say, things that make you go, duh. All right. Let's see. Yep, that's what I was also wondering too. Dandy says, I wonder how long that stuff knocks a person out for. 2 days seems like an awful long time. Yeah. See, and that's what I'm getting at. Even if they did, because I watch a lot of, it used to be called Live PD when it was on a different channel. Now it's on Real's channel. It's called On Patrol Live. You see people all the time, they find them passed out on, usually substances or alcohol or both. And they, rouse them. They do what they call the chest. They rub their chest, and they usually come right up unless they're ODing, and then they use the Narcan. But yeah, just for 2 days seems like a long time for me to, or for somebody to be that out of it. But I mean, I don't know. I've never done those kind of substances, so I don't know. But it does seem very suspicious. Oh, keep hitting the wrong buttons. So sorry, Junior. Junior says, my brother passed away from F overdose. Those people get so high they don't know what's going on. The house could be on fire and they wouldn't know. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that, Junior. I'm so sorry. I never knew that. Thoughts, prayers, good vibes coming your way, buddy. Yeah, it's this whole, especially like you said, the F, so scary how, because they said you can get the equivalent of maybe 3 grains of salt on you, and it could and I've watched body cam footage of police officers, law enforcement officers, who are just searching somebody or searching something without gloves on, and they just get a little bit of it on their skin and they go right out just like that. And luckily, because usually there's more than one police officer there, for the most part, most of the time, thankfully, and they give them Narcan and they come out of it. So it's horrible, horrible drug. Junior says it'll be 2 years in May. I'm so sorry, Junior. Like I said, always thoughts, prayers, and good vibes. Dandy says, my youngest daughter was playing with fire not long ago. It was terrifying. She's been lucky to get clean and away from that stuff. Excellent. That's thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to you too, of course, Dandy. Yes. It's good to know that she's getting the help she needs. Yeah, P9 makes an excellent point. When kids dabble in the partying, that they do not realize how quick it can get out of control. Exactly. Because I mean, I grew up in a teenager and young adult in the late 80s into the early 90s. And I mean, though of course I don't know about the F, but the H and the Coke and everything was out there. But I mean, I never did and I only smoked Mary Jane once, and that was in my probably early 30s. A puff 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 give. If anybody's seen the movie Friday, you know what I'm talking about. Just that kind of thing, and didn't do anything for me. But and of course I drank like a fish, but in my younger days I couldn't do it now. But yeah, we didn't. And I know back in the 80s, the Coke and the meth was just starting out. That was the big thing. And now it's just rampant and out of control everywhere, and it's so scary. I'm sorry, Dandy. I'm just reading y'all's comments, Junior and Dandy, and everybody about their just thoughts and prayers, guys. I love all you guys and gals. I always say guys. When I say guys, I mean guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, P9 says sometimes the families do not find out until it is too late. A friend of mine OD, and it happened so quick. She only was into it for a year, but it spiraled quickly. Yep. And I think I've read, or just from watching, like I said, we watch On Patrol Live, and a lot of police shows. Or I was watching a documentary or something, and it said that and I can't remember what, maybe it was either meth or H. It said once you get addicted to meth or H, you can only go maybe 4 or 5 hours, and you're wanting another fix, another hit, or whatever. I mean, it's scary, scary, scary. P9 says when they party, it can last for days. That makes sense. Yeah, Junior says that's why I wasn't surprised when this case happened. It's very possible he didn't know that they were deceased. And yeah, that could be true. Like I said, I'm not saying that he was up and about and knew what was happening. I'm saying I want to know. Was he incapacitated that long? Was he not? And if he was incapacitated, I can understand. But if he wasn't incapacitated, then he has some explaining to do. But it's entirely possible that he was incapacitated for that long. We just don't know. Because I'm assuming, well, I'm sure he had a story that he gave to the police, and I'm sure it's probably been, I've read so much about this case, it's all blending together, but I'm sure I can't remember what his initial story was, but I just remember that it said that he did not, they did not see him until the actual police, and this was after the fiance of one of the victims broke, I think it was a basement window, and went in and found the body. She went out, called the police, and then when the police came and started banging on the door, then is when he came out, and supposedly they make a big deal of, supposedly with this wine glass in his empty wine glass in his hand. But as far as his story as to what he was doing for those 2 days, I can't. I'm sure you guys out there know what his story or stories have been. Yeah, and P9, that's my thing too. P9 says they cut it, also mixing all kinds of things in it that you do not know what you're getting. And absolutely, and I've also made that point kind of in Jordan Willis' defense. He may not have whoever he got these substances from, he might have might not have known what was in it. That's what makes it so scary about them. Even if you have a trusted dealer or whatever that you get your stuff from, if they say, hey, you know, and then I know that it goes up and up and up, and you, so it's just you never truly know, even if you've been having the same supplier or dealer for a long time, you still don't know what's in any whatever you're taking. I knew it was a lot. Junior says over 70,000 people a year pass away from it. I believe it. Horrible, out of control. Yeah, and it says that's an outstanding number. Yeah, and I know you mean outstanding, not in the good way. Oh, you didn't say outstanding. My bad. An astounding number. I'm sorry. And it says that's an astounding number, not an outstanding number. I'm trying to read something this big, guys. I apologize. Oh, goodness. Try to get caught up. Okay, I think I'm caught up again. Let's see if we got anything else. How long have we been going? Oh, almost 2 hours already. I think that's about it. I just had this thing. This last thing. This is from Arkansas. I just wanted to, for anybody that might be watching in the Arkansas area, this comes from Injustice Arkansas, which is what they call their backup, which the Arkansas Justice Project calls their backup page, because apparently their main page gets on Facebook gets flagged all the time for stuff they post. But anyway, it says it's a call to action from Duke County. So you see on the slide there, Linda Jean Nelson on September 5th, 1985. Linda Jean Nelson was abducted, assaulted, and her life was taken while working at the Cracker Box convenience store on Highway 425 in Monticello, Arkansas. Herod Shepard Jr. was convicted of capital M on January 27th, 1986, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But Shepard has now submitted an application for clemency to the Arkansas Parole Board, and Linda's family was notified on VineLink, whatever that is. Apparently they couldn't call. So there will be a commutation screening on April 11th, 2024, and if the parole board finds that his application for clemency has merit, a hearing will be held before the parole board. So they are calling on the Arkansas Parole Board to deny this application for clemency, which, in my opinion, I agree with that. So anybody in Arkansas, please reach out to the Arkansas Parole Board to tell them that clemency for Herod Shepard Jr. is unacceptable. You can call 501-682-3850. So what Mr. Shepard has been up to while he's been in prison. He's had 2 major disciplinary violations listed in his ADC, Arkansas Department of Corrections page, for possession and manufacture of contraband in 2020. And despite having been incarcerated for 37 years, Herod has only completed 4 prison programs, including art appreciation, stress management, general psychology, and communication. Shepard has also filed several frivolous lawsuits while incarcerated, including one in 2020, where he claimed that he is a Moorish American national sovereign citizen, and believes this means that Arkansas does not have jurisdiction in this crime and that he should be released from prison. The judge in that case saw through his nonsense, as they call it, and issued this decision. Quote, the pending petition is frivolous. Therefore, the court recommends that Judge Baker deny and dismiss Herod Shepard Jr.'s petition for writ of habeas corpus without prejudice. Furthermore, Judge Baker should deny a certificate of appealability, and this was dated July 22nd of 2020. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, see what you guys think about that. Like I said, in my opinion, just my opinion, he should, and I have to look into this case. If there's any more information besides what was included, from this Facebook page, it might be one of my cases of the week in the future. All right, I'll go out back out for a minute to see what you guys had to say before I get too further behind. I'm not too far behind. I think I am still caught up. Hey, I think the last thing I have here. Oh, hold on. To go back. Amanda Harms. I found her obituary. I just wanted to read it. And on a semi good note. So Amanda Harms, and once again, we're still going to keep our eyes on this case. Come on, if I can get it to come up. There we go. Because I still have a lot of questions in this Amanda Harms case too, because the story with her going into this guy, maybe not so much the question that she got into a car with a stranger, because her family did say that she struggled with alcohol addiction. But what happened after she got into that car? Did she willingly go into this house with this man? Was she forced to go in there, and that's why she climbed out the window and left her jacket and her hat and her gloves and everything behind? She tried to climb over a wire link fence because some of her pieces of her clothing were found in the fence. To me, it's just I have a lot of questions. But her obituary: Amanda Harms, January 14th, 1978, deceased January 18th, 2024. In memory of Amanda Harms. Mandy Harms was born on January 14th, 1978 in Muskogee, Oklahoma. She attended Oktaha High School, where she was a cheerleader and participated in gymnastics. In her younger years, she was a member of Boulevard Christian Church, where she met her future husband, Eric Harms. After the couple married, Mandy and Eric moved to Illinois, where Mandy worked while attending college at Western Illinois University. Mandy obtained her bachelor's degree in education. She continued her education while working as a math teacher, and ultimately earned a master's degree in education. Mandy taught in the Illinois school system for 22 years. She just doesn't look that old enough to have been a teacher for 22 years. During which time she also served a term as the president of the school board union for the Sherrard School District. Mandy was passionate about teaching math and helping her students. She would often stay late or come early to tutor students. She recently moved back to Muskogee to be near family and was teaching at Ben Franklin Academy at the time that she passed. Mandy is survived by her husband, Eric, children, Brianna, Austin, and Brooke, as well as her parents, her sisters, nieces, nephews, one grandchild, and many other relatives. She will be dearly missed by all who knew her. So that was, I just wanted to end on that. I'm kind of a little bit of an uplifting after everything that we've been talking about tonight. So I think that was the last one I had for tonight. Let me go out and see if we got any more comments before I get out of here. Make sure I haven't missed anything. All right, you guys have any other thoughts, comments, questions before I get out of here? Been over here on a little over 2 hours. Thank you, Dandy. Dandy says, sleep sweet, everyone. Thanks for being here. Yes, everybody, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate everybody who attended the live and in chat, everybody who watches replay. If you haven't already, hold on. If you haven't already, please hit that like button for the video, subscribe, like, share, comment. You guys know the drill. All that helps small channels like mine. You can find me on Facebook. I have a group and a page, Southern Gal True Crime. You can contact me. Any questions, comments. If you have a case that a missing person or a cold case that you think is not getting enough attention, send me the information, the victim's name, state it happened in, any information you have, and I will do my best to research it, and I will share it for you to help bring more awareness to it. If you would like to help support the channel and the search for the missing, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account. I have a PayPal Me account, and there's also Southern Gal True Crime merchandise. All those links can be found. I think Dandy put them at the very top of the comments, but you can also find them in the About section of the page, and also I think I've already put them in the description box for the video or for the live stream. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you once again to everybody. Everybody have a good rest of your Valentine's Day. Have a good, what's today? Today is Wednesday. I will be back Friday night. I will be covering the Kevin Ives and Don Henry case from Arkansas. Trust me, you guys do not want to miss this one. It will be a live stream Friday night, probably around 7 or 8-ish Central U.S. time. And we're just going to get the tip of the iceberg on this one. But I will give you links and references and videos, places to send you. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss Friday's case. So with that, I will get out of here, and I will see, trying to multitask. I will see you guys Friday. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.